Is the hobby dying or is it thriving? And if it is dying, what's going to finish it off and kill it? Let's take a look in this video. Well, hey guys, welcome back. We don't get to talk much just in this setting outside of the layout, but I wanted to talk about some items that are near and dear to my heart, which include whether the hobby's dying or not. Now, there's a lot of talk about the hobby and the health of the hobby, and you see a lot of good signs and you see some bad signs. But there's two things that I think are very important to make sure the hobby doesn't die. And to me, seeing the industry in itself over the last 9 years and how things have changed, along with seeing some of the manufacturer side of things, from visiting some of the companies and seeing how they work and their concerns, I think I have a decent picture of the hobby's health. I think the hobby's fairly healthy, but I think we can make it a lot healthier by doing several things, or actually just two main things that I'll talk about in this video. The first one is pre-orders. Now, I know that's a delicate subject. A lot of people don't want to pre-order. I've heard things all over the forums about pre-orders. But when you pre-order with most companies, if not all, there is no obligation to keep your order. There's no down payment. There's nothing financially obligating you to that item. Matter of fact, when I pre-order through trainworld.com, they call me when the item comes in and ask if I still want it. And there's been sometimes I've said no. There's no bad thing about pre-ordering because there's no loss of money, loss of your own money in the process. I'm going to use Intermountain as an example for pre-order for companies. Now, they let me borrow this from my local hobby shop. That'll be getting this soon, but this is an Intermountain current reservations list. And you should actually see these if you still go to brick and mortar hobby shops, start to appear, if not already, in your shops. Intermountain has several different items here, and you thumb through your items and you actually tell your dealer, if you're at a brick and mortar hobby shop, hey, I want to order this. And a version of this is also online at intermountainrailway.com, and you can actually pre-order all these items. And they've got HO and N, and they've got just pages and pages of rolling stock and locomotives, and I'm actually even skipping some pages as I thumb through this. So many items that you can pre-order through Intermountain or through your dealer to Intermountain. And then there's a whole tab just for in-scale items as well, where some of this is listed also. Now, here's the problem. If you don't pre-order enough, in the case of Intermountain, that item may not get made because they have a threshold they want to hit to produce the item. And all they need is a non-financially binding indicator from the consumer that you want the item. But if you just wait for it to appear on online retailers or appear in your brick and mortar hobby shops, it may never appear. So you have to convey that through the pre-order buttons on online retailers or the actual binder here through brick and mortar hobby shops. And if your brick and mortar hobby shop doesn't have one, you can actually go on the internet, find the item, and tell them to pre-order that for you, and they should still be passing that along to Intermountain. And there's other companies as well that do the same sort of thing. If they don't see enough interest, they will cancel a run of items. And I've actually seen some items that I knew would be wildly popular get canceled because the pre-order threshold wasn't met. The company has to invest 6 figures into a locomotive tooling in order to have it made. And if they don't have a good, warm, fuzzy feeling that people are going to want the item, they're not going to make it. So I've seen really great items that I think would have been in high demand, that I know would have been in high demand, canceled because of that. So that's the first order of business, I think, to keep the hobby surviving, is the pre-order. I think we need to get back to the pre-order and find a good dealer, either online or brick and mortar, that won't give you a hard time if you cancel it because you've had some sort of financial issue or whatever. but there's no pressure to place the order. There's no financial obligation. And then you have a great system there to tell the manufacturer what's going on. Now, the second item I want to talk about to keep the hobby thriving is actually encouragement. When I first got into the hobby, there was a lot of discouragement because I had Easy Track and I had this, little setup that looked like maybe a young kid had put it together. I was afraid of DCC. There were all these things, and I got ragged on quite a bit. I got beat up quite a bit verbally in the messages. Now, luckily, I have a thick skin, but for some people, they don't, and for young kids, they don't. So I think we need to be more encouraging. If you see the most atrocious thing you can find on the internet, that some kid is trying, or even an adult is trying to say, hey, I'm trying, you need to be positive and try to help them further. Those are the two things I believe will help our hobby thrive. And if we do those two things, I don't think the hobby will die. I think it'll actually thrive even more. So just keep in mind, pre-orders are a big deal, and being actually positive and pumping some positive vibes into the hobby, into newcomers, giving them encouragement is important too. Thanks for watching, guys. If you do these two things, I don't think the hobby will die. I think it'll thrive. But if you don't do those two things, the hobby could very well die. But that's about all for me. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Encourage one another, pre-order, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.